Sup, nerds? Hope you brought your thesis papers and citations, because today we're going to be ranking every Rebecca Kuang book from worst to best. Starting with the latest one I have read, The Burning God. This is the finale of the Poppy War trilogy, and despite having some great stuff in its first half, I unfortunately think this one kinda fumbles at the end. The whole final act felt super rushed and sloppy to me, and while the series has an interesting ending, I don't really think it was earned. Next up, The Dragon Republic, the second book in the series, and this one is a pretty enjoyable and entertaining war story. There's a lot of cool action, cool lore, a lot of stuff to appreciate here, but I just think that the unlikable characters and its reliance on, following real-world history just made it not as engaging as I think it should have been. It's also quite predictable as well, if you know what stuff it's based on. Yes, the first book in the series is my favorite. I think it's a really cool look at Chinese mythology and history told through this fantasy setting. It's sort of a mix between a war book and a magic school book, and again, while I've still never really been a fan of its main character, I do think her story in this book is quite compelling, and I did enjoy the ride. Though the final parts of this book are actually very hard to enjoy because they are some of the darkest stuff I have ever read in modern fantasy. This book really bummed me out at the end, but one thing's for sure, it's gonna stick with me. Catabasis is her newest book, and I enjoy this one quite a bit. One of her more lighthearted books, despite, being about a journey into hell. A journey that I thought was very entertaining, very funny at times. I enjoyed our main characters a lot, and I really enjoyed how, we didn't know much about them going into the story. As things play out, we learn more, and it sort of recontextualizes the whole thing. And that fun, twisty narrative just really entertained me throughout the whole ride. If it weren't for a few issues I had in its final quarter, this would probably rank higher, but I still really enjoyed this one quite a bit. If you haven't checked it out yet, because it's new, I would highly recommend it. Yellowface is her most popular book by a large margin, mostly because it breaks away from the fantasy stories that she usually writes. This is more of a contemporary fiction satire, very ridiculous and insane story about authors and the publishing industry. It's very over the top, but it takes itself serious enough to still be an engaging story. This is how you do an unlikable protagonist well. This is for sure her most accessible book that I would recommend to pretty much everyone. Babel is my favorite R.F. Kuang book. This thing blows all of her other books out of the water, in my opinion. This is an absolute, masterwork. An incredibly rich historical setting that matches our own world with a hint of magic, a very endearing cast of main characters, exceptional exploration of certain themes. It is all around just an insane, twisty, epic tale. I think R.F. Kuang is a great author, and this book currently stands at the very top. And many of you guys seem to agree with me too, which means I'm objectively right, so I don't have to worry about that. Let me know what you think on all of these books in the comments down below.